This is the regular meeting of the Planning and Zoning Committee. It is Wednesday, August 10th, a little after 3:30. The meeting is hereby called to order. Item 2 on our agenda is approval of the meeting minutes from our last meeting.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes from the meeting.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and properly seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. So those meeting minutes are approved. We have rezoning cases. We are going to reorder our agenda to bring up the Inslee Highlands case, which is case number 2. We're going to bring it up to number 1 because it is going to be expeditious. So if the speaker would please come speak.
Yes, ma'am. My name is Frank Galloway III. I represent the applicant, and in consult with the City Council, City COUNSEL Council, we have come to the conclusion that it would be appropriate to ask for a continuance to the next meeting so some issues could be ironed out and we could present a more orderly and concise case for the committee to consider.
Thank you. Mr. Gambrell, is there any issue with that?
No.
Okay.
No, if that's their wish.
So we will simply put you on our next agenda and move ahead at that time.
Thank you, Ms. Atwood. Appreciate it.
And then if you for some reason aren't ready in 2 weeks, you can simply speak with the staff and let them know that you need more time, if you do.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
You don't have to come to the next meeting to ask for another continuance.
We appreciate that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
I move we delay this case until the next regular scheduled meeting.
Second.
It has been moved and properly seconded that we delay this case for 2 weeks or to our next meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So that passes. So now we are on to our first case, which is now our second case, ZAC 2022-00001. Mr. Gambrell?
Yes, ma'am. This is ZAC 2022-1. It's in the Oxmoor neighborhood, and it's an application to change zone district boundaries from MXD, the planned mixed-use district, to C1 neighborhood commercial district in order to allow for the construction of a new convenience store and quick service restaurant, filed by Charles Beavers on behalf of the owner, United States Steel Corporation, for the properties located at 3060 Shannon Oxmoor Road, situated in northeast quarter, section 6, township 19, South Range 3 West, and it is in Council District 7. As mentioned, the proposed use is a convenience store, quick service restaurant. The subject property is in approximately 2.92 acres of land currently zoned MXD. Abutting the subject property to the north, southwest is undeveloped land also zoned MXD. To the east of the property is a Circle K convenience store that also houses Smith K Cleaners, zoned C1. The current zoning MXD planned mixed use district is designed to allow for a compatible complementary mixture of residential, office, commercial, cultural, institutional, governmental, and industrial uses in large planned developments. This property does not have a subgroup zoning. The applicant's proposal is to construct a convenience store that will have a quick service restaurant with drive-through, indoor dining on one side, typical convenience store on the other. There will be 5 fueling stations with 10 pumps, 1 on each side. The applicant is seeking C1 neighborhood commercial district. This district is designed to allow for areas neighborhood retail services that meet the day-to-day needs of residents, workers of surrounding neighborhoods. Uses in this district include small grocery store, bank, restaurant, services such as small professional health office, barber, beauty shop, dry cleaner, small to medium scale office, schools, churches, neighborhoods serving public uses. This district is intended to be accessible by both automobile with sufficient parking, but also designed to accommodate pedestrian bicycle access. The city's adopted long-range land use plan identifies the property as I-1 Light Industrial District. The zoning ordinance the proposed uses are permitted with conditions in C1. and let's see, a retail establishment selling, I guess this is just the definition of a convenience store. A retail establishment selling primarily food products, household items, newspaper, magazine, candy, beverage, and which gasoline or other motor fuels are dispensed at retail by use of fixed approved dispensers. Convenience stores may include automated car wash for washing one automobile at a time within an enclosed building. Any establishment where services are rendered or items are sold for consumption on-site or off-site and orders are made from a car to serve at a window via a speaker receiver via automated device. Of course, that's the definition of a drive-in drive-through. Let's see. Are these conditions that we're proposing here? In C1, oh, these are the conditions that are in the zoning ordinance, I'm sorry. In C1, a drive-through, drive-in or drive-through shall be permitted provided that any drive-in or drive-through shall be located 50 feet from residential dwellings. In a C1, a convenience store shall be permitted provided that the following conditions are met. All pumps shall not be closer than 50 feet to any dwelling district and not closer than 15 feet to a right-of-way line. Any building shall be set back 25 feet from a dwelling district. Automated car washes in C1 district shall be allowed as an accessory use by special exception pursuant to Chapter 4, Article 3, Section 6 of the zoning ordinance. Stormwater Division reported that all stormwater, floodplain, soil erosion ordinances apply, which include, soil erosion control, civil construction, stormwater permits requirements will apply, including certification from a design engineer. Post-construction runoff shall not exceed pre-project runoff for 1, 2, 10, and 25-year storms, and the 100-year storm shall safely pass the 100-year storm shall safely pass the system. Compliance with the post-construction stormwater ordinance is required. The Birmingham Department of Transportation has reviewed plans and approved the applicant's plan to restripe the turn lane on Oxmoor Road. They are not concerned about any increase in traffic at this time. The applicant's proposed site plan shows 16 parking spaces, 10 fuel pump spaces, and 9 stacking spaces in the drive-through. The parking requirement for general retail is 1 space per 300 square feet of gross floor area. In this case, that equals 16 spaces. For a drive-through, it's 4 stacking spaces per each drive-through, and so they exceed that. The total number of parking spaces required is 16 with 4 stacking, and it looks like their site plan is a total of 16 spaces and 9 stacking spaces, so they meet the parking requirement for the site. This project requires an evergreen shrub hedgerow between the gas station and the street, as well as 1 canopy tree per 40 feet of frontage. And let's see, Q conditions that may be considered. If the committee recommends approval of the rezoning request, the following condition may be considered: compliance with all requirements in the Oxmoor Steering Committee guidelines. The Oxmoor Neighborhood Association met a regular scheduled meeting on February 14, 2022 to review the proposed project and voted to not support the proposed rezoning request. The vote that night was 5 to support and 32 not. The neighborhood is not supportive of the rezoning request because there are 5 gas stations in the area. There are in Oxmoor, 3 are in Oxmoor, and one of those 3 already serves hot food. The new gas station would also cause more traffic problems on Shannon Oxmoor Road. This property is located within the Southwest Framework Plan area. This framework plan was adopted in May 2017. Southwest Framework Implementation Committee established 2017. But this committee has not had an opportunity to review the request at this time. The Zoning Advisory Committee met at its regular scheduled meeting June 7, 2022, voted to continue the case, and then they met again on August 2, 2022 and voted to recommend the case, and that vote was 3 yes and 2 no. The committee recommends the following Qs: compliance with the Oxmoor Steering Guidelines, and any further development on the property requires submittal of a site plan to the Zoning Advisory Committee, and the committee must approve the site plan prior to any new construction. And that concludes the report.
Okay, I have 2 questions for you before we move to the public, and that is a drive-through being requested?
I believe, I thought that was in the report.
Yeah, it has a drive-through.
Yeah, it has a drive-through, yeah, and they're providing 4 stacking spaces, yeah.
Okay, somehow I missed that.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
the other question is, Is compliance with all requirements in the Oxmoor Steering Committee guidelines not included for all properties within this district?
Well, yeah, so this property is being rezoned from MXD to C1. And since it's being rezoned to C1, we wanted to apply those guidelines to be consistent within the Oxmoor Valley. So if they had a sub-designation that allowed this use, then they would be going forward with a development plan review, and they would have to comply with those standards. But since they're rezoning to C1, we want to make sure the standards still apply.
Okay. Well, I just thought that they were required
They are within the MXD.
only in the MXD.
That's correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Well, this is a public hearing, and first we want to hear from the applicant who wants to come up and explain what they're doing and why. And then we'll hear from the public or anyone else who wants to speak. So if you would state your name and address and tell us your story.
Good afternoon, Madam Chairman, committee members. My name is Charlie Beavers, 4301 Dolly Ridge Road, Birmingham 35243. It is my pleasure to represent Mr. Mike Ahmed, who actually has now closed the purchase of this property from U.S. Steel. He is the owner of the property and would develop, own, operate, manage the store upon its construction. He has two other brand new, he has another basically brand new store in the McCalla area on Macashan that he's developed, and he's just received approval from the Jefferson County Commission for a new store immediately across from the new hospital that's going out in that area. So this is what he does, and he very much likes this site and is excited about the opportunity he hopes to be able to develop there. He is here to answer any questions you might have. Mr. Ahmed is right here. Also, we have Mr. Logan Gandy, who is our civil engineer, and he's here to answer any questions you all might have about the engineering or development of the side of the site plan. Mr. Willie Oliver is here as well. He's part of Mr. Ahmed's team and has helped him with a number of projects. He's an architect that has helped him with a number of projects in the area that he has. This property is, do y'all have the site plan there and all that you can see? As you see, it's bounded, it's about 2.4 acres. It's bounded by two roads, of course. It's in a corner at an intersection with a light, and then on the back of the site it's bounded by a railroad track, which is an active track. It's separated from the bulk of land that U.S. Steel has had in the area, and our understanding is that MXD requires a certain minimum acreage before you can develop within it, and of course we don't have it with this particular site. It's separated from the rest of it, and so we have to look at another underlying zone to allow this particular use. The staff report mentioned objections from the neighborhood with respect to traffic and the fact that they felt like there were too many convenience stores in the area. Our position on that is that we have met all the requirements of the city's traffic engineer. In fact, after this had gone through the neighborhood and as it was being placed on the agenda before the zoning advisory committee, we were asked by traffic engineering and planning staff to come to City Hall with our engineer and look at the site plan and the plans for ingress and egress, and the traffic engineer gave specific instructions of how it wanted to see turn lanes, access into the property, and decel lanes for the development. And our client then had his engineer draft those, prepare a plan that met those requirements, submitted it back to traffic engineering, and received traffic engineering from the city's approval of the plan for ingress and egress from the site. we'll just make a kind of a general observation about that as well, is that if you look at the site plan and the direction of the road, this is on the side of the road where folks are coming south on the main road where the property's located. And folks will naturally turn, as a rule, are going to be turning right in and right out there as a general rule. There are turn lanes so that people can make turns left in and out in accordance with traffic engineering's requirements and in a way that traffic engineering says is appropriate. But as a general rule, that's what happens. And then there's a convenience store across the street. That's convenient to folks coming in and out going the other way. Right now, if someone going out the direction toward the south of town wants to stop for gasoline or groceries or anything that they might pick up at the convenience store, they got to turn left across traffic. With this store, they'll be able to turn right in and right out on their way traveling in that direction. That's what our client experiences as a rule in this type of business. It is a convenience store. It does not attract new traffic. It has its business off of the traffic that is already there. And again, the most important thing is that your traffic engineering department has approved this traffic plan and does not see a problem with it from a traffic standpoint. With respect to there being too many convenience stores in the area, there's one immediately across the street, which is certainly not unusual, as you know. The closest ones to this site, there's a Shell and a Marathon 1.2 miles away, and a Marathon and Chevron 1.3 miles away. Both are in different directions, and they're all on. None of them are on the Shannon Oxmoor Road. They're on the main Lakeshore Boulevard out there, Parkway out there. They're not in the same travel pattern as this. Our client deems this to be an excellent site for his business, and that he will be serving the citizens in the area and citizens who pass by who are not being served at present, and that there's certainly plenty of business there. He wouldn't be coming. All of the requirements of the Zoning Advisory Committee in its recommendation for approval are acceptable to our client. One was that there would be no further development of the site without an additional site plan approval coming before the Zoning Advisory Committee. He certainly is agreeable to that, and agreeable to whatever conditions with respect to the additional land that's there that this committee or the city council might want to impose. He has no particular plan for the rest of the site, and is happy to have that subject to further approvals down the line, notwithstanding the zoning. We would love to have neighborhood support, and we met at least twice and then offered to meet again extra times with the neighborhood to answer questions, to try to see what we could do to make the site acceptable to the neighborhood. We just haven't been able to do that. And so as we view this, the question is, are the concerns of the neighborhood, which we think are sincere and heartfelt, we don't challenge that at all, but are they supported by the facts? Are they supported by the city's report, your planning staff, and your traffic engineering input in the property? And we say, they're just not. I mean, I believe they believe that there's going to be a traffic problem, but the staff and your professionals say there's not, and it's acceptable. And so we certainly hope we can get a favorable recommendation from this committee. Mr. Ahmad is a fine gentleman, and he very much likes this site. He went on and bought it from U.S. Steel while we're still going through this process because he believes in it and very much wants to be there. We're happy to answer any questions you might have about the food service there, the restaurant there that he has, or about the site planning that our civil engineer can address. And we would like an opportunity, if we could, just to come and respond to anything that might be provided by anyone in the neighborhood.
Okay, does anybody have an immediate question, or do you want to finish hearing from both the public and the applicant first? Okay, so we will, if you will have a seat, then we'll listen to members of the public who've come to comment on this, and then we'll probably have some questions.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. This is a public hearing. We're ready at this time to hear from anyone who has any concerns or comments or suggestions. So if you would please come forward. You have 3 minutes apiece to speak, and if you give your name and your address.
Good afternoon. My name is Robert Young Jr. My address is 109 Pretoria Circle, Birmingham, Alabama 35211. I'm not sure why we're here. We made our recommendation as a neighborhood several times as to why we don't want this particular service station at this particular intersection. Perception is our reality. Now, I don't know what reports have been coming out about the traffic on that corner, but the traffic on that corner, if we had another business like that, would be terrible. I mean, it's just going to be unrealistic. It's not going to be acceptable. Whatever reports have been seen, that's fine. What's on the report, I've learned from experience that what's on the report and reality are a lot of times two different things. We voted against this particular project several times in our neighborhood, and I think at some point the neighborhood desires should be the one that should be what's considered. We've said no several times, not just once. We've said no to this particular development several times because we recognize what the traffic is at that intersection. You've got traffic coming off West Oxmoor, going up the hill to Bluff Park. You've got the traffic going out to Ross Bridge, and you have that one Circle K that sits there at the V, and then they're talking about putting another business right there on that corner going up toward the Ross Bridge direction. So, our answer to this as a neighborhood is no.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Larry Witt, and I reside at 101 Vancouver Court. That's in Ridgeview Estates in Oxmoor Valley. I'm here because we oppose this development because there's not a liking of his services in our neighborhood. We have multiple gas stations. We have multiple food that's accessible. And this particular, as the gentleman before me just spoke, the concern is the traffic at that intersection. That's a four-way intersection. It's a B in the road, and then it's a three-way. And if you go down through there any time of day, which I do because I'm retired, I can go in and out when I get ready, there's always a line of cars in the direction that you go. And the section where he's planning on building is directly across from the Circle K that's already there. You got a car wash there on that side, and you got the Avenue Apartments that's there. Okay, and I'm thinking it's going to pose more traffic because you're on a 2-lane road. That's not a 4-lane road, that's a 2-lane. If any of you familiar with Chick-fil-A on Lake Shore, they demolished Chick-fil-A because it was causing a traffic jam on Lake Shore. People trying to get into Chick-fil-A getting left out on Lake Shore, blocking traffic where the traffic can't go east. So they tore Chick-fil-A all the way down and rebuilt it further back on the property, put in a double drive-through to alleviate that traffic off of Lake Shore to keep from having that backup. And I'm looking at having the same situation if he's allowed to do what he want to do. Having a convenience store along with food service on a 2-lane road directly across from another service station who's selling approximately the same item that he's selling. And we just think it's going to create a problem there for his traffic. I know he's saying what traffic engineering is saying, but you have to see to believe. You can say anything. You could say, I'm going to put a turn lane in where people can have access left or right. But it's up to the individual which station he want to go to. You can't say just because you put a turn lane on this right side of the road to go in your establishment that people coming in there. They could go to the other side where they desire to go. So for this reason, for the traffic, and plus not only vehicle traffic, we concerned about undesirable traffic, late night undesirable traffic too. For undesirable people that's coming into the neighborhood that otherwise wouldn't come if it wasn't for this establishment, you know. And like I said, we just pray and hope that, you know, he's not allowed this, because like I said, we're not liking anything in our neighborhood cause those type of services, gasoline and food and stuff. We got grocery stores and multiple gas stations. So thank you all.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good evening. My name is Nathan Carter. My address is 2017 Nova Scotia Circle in the Mountain View Forest subdivision. And as it relates to this particular project, I understand that we have done the traffic studies, but there's another issue that is a part of traffic, and that is the traffic flow out of Ross Bridge, and there are several other developments that are going to take place that is going to put additional traffic on this particular area. The design of the intersection is as big a problem as anything that you have in there. It already goes down into a one lane that turns into a turn lane that needs to be extended. We have requested that several times, and engineering, from what I understand in Birmingham, said that's something that they plan to do, but it's further down the road. So the idea of stopping this traffic again at this service station without having adequate space to get completely off of the road before it gets backed up is going to create an additional problem. So I understand from a business standpoint that there's value here, but there's also value for protecting the sanctity of the neighborhood by not creating a problem that is going to cause major issues with a resolution that could be put in place before it's there. Fix the intersection. That would help solve a lot of this, but you're not going to get it fixed. There's going to be additional traffic because they're stopping traffic. I heard the lawyer say that everybody would go right out of there, and the gentleman before me said it, and I'm going to repeat it. The traffic will go in and out depending on what the customer desires. We don't control the traffic out of the Circle K. I don't know how they're going to control the traffic out of the VP. So if this traffic starts turning in both directions, which it will, it's going to create an additional traffic situation. We have also recently had, over the last few years, a car wash put right down from this that also has a issue getting in and out of there. So the difficulty in trying to make this work for the community is that it creates a problem that could easily be solved if you do something about the issue with the traffic lane. So that's my reason for opposing it, is that there's just, when you look at it, there's no way that it can be put in there without causing major issues of traffic movement through that area. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Try and get this. Can you hear me now? Mrs. Kirk, 101 Jewel Circle, Birmingham.
Can you say that again?
Kirk, K-I-R-K, 101 Jewel Circle, Birmingham. I'm not sure which handout you guys were provided, but I'm going to be going from this document if this was shared with you. Okay. I get the net out my face, I can see. If you turn to page 7, it's what a couple of things that I noticed. Going with the facts that, first of all, they're trying to do it a C1. Right now we're zoned as MXD. We do have concerns even with the drive-in, as if it goes forward, the drive-in would be an issue. But what I want you to turn and look at is page 8, talking about the Birmingham Department of Transportation. And it was read by Mr. Gambrell that the Birmingham Department of Transportation has looked over and approved the applicant's plan to restripe the turn lane on Oxmoor. BDOT is not concerned about any increase in traffic. We are very much concerned about the traffic. When I read this and said that the BDOT has looked, I thought about one of our old parents' terms that I'm fixing. It's almost how it reads, like I'm fixing gonna do or something. I believe that a feasibility study is definitely needed. Whereas the engineers gave reports, no feasibility study has been done. I purposely drove through there this afternoon, and the way this drawing is on page 8, I'm not sure if it's drawn to scale, but you do not have that much room for turning, be it right or left, going in both directions. So to me, the traffic is very much an issue because the infrastructure is not there to handle this increase in turning. I don't know if it's going to take an accident occurring coming from the south to the north or what, but this does not correctly reflect the turning lanes going in and out of this proposed site. Also, if you turn to page 14, they talked about the framework plan, and that I know Mr. Gambrell read something differently, but the copy I had said that the framework, the implementation committee, did not have any comments to add, but that language has been corrected now. I have a concern that when this was shared with the previous committee, they were on the assumption that the implementation committee actually agreed with this, and we do not. Also, the last thing I want to mention, a couple of things from the gentleman that spoke earlier, and as Mr. Carter mentioned, there will be no general rule that I'm going to turn right or left. I may not want Circle K gas, I may want BP gas, so that's a very much inaccurate assumption. He said that he had came to the neighborhoods and hoped that we support the site to be acceptable, and that the views were based on facts. Well, the facts is that the Birmingham Engineering Department, PP, has not actually been out there to physically look at the traffic, what's going to be involved. The fact is that the infrastructure is not there to absorb that congestion that will take place, be it in the morning or in the afternoon. The fact is that we know that traffic will be a problem. That's not a belief, that is a fact. I hope, just like Mr. Beaver said, but mine is the opposite way, I hope they do not receive a favorable ruling this afternoon. Opportunity present itself, but before you can grow, get the infrastructure and the things needed, because if you create one problem, it's only going to add to it, and we already know they're not correcting the turning lane. So to increase that problem coming in is just going to be major traffic issues, traffic problems, and accidents. That's why I'm not in favorable until the infrastructure is corrected and completed should a business be put in that intersection. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Madeline Green, Oxmoor President, 108 Munich Circle, 35211. First, giving God all the honor and praise for us even being here today. The first packet of handouts that you see consists of 5 gas stations, convenience store, whatever, / in Oxmoor. The 5th picture is at the beginning of the second packet. The second packet, I would like for you to go to that, because the first packet just consists of the 5 service stations. The second packet is showing the location of the property for rezoning to the right of our neighborhood sign. Again, we're back at our sign, which we live behind that sign. Okay, at the corner, proceeding on Shannon Oxmoor. Okay, if you go on through very quickly, located behind the property are railroad tracks, just like Attorney Beaver said. Further back, there is a part of Oxmoor community where we have 42 homes going up. Okay, and I would like to tell you that the rezoning will not create it will create more traffic, just like everyone said, but it's going to create congestion. You all have not lived there 18 years. In 18 years we've been there and had to deal with this triangular. And Mr. Fowler knows about it. We recently talked about that maybe about 3 months ago, and he said they will not be able to get to that, and we've been working on that before Mr. Fowler for at least 10 years, asking the city. Okay, so that's where we are with that, and it's a triangular, and the location of the rezoning is over here. We have a gas station right here, Circle K, that we just right down walking distance, and then from that Circle K, as you see, as you go through that second packet, on the left side, you have a car wash. I even enlarged the car wash. Next to the car wash, you have avenues of Lakeshore with a set of apartment homes. There's 500 and some of them there, and that's along that strip where the service station wants to build across the street. Now, I don't know whether it's the amount of footage from there, but we don't need a car wash. We have a car wash. We don't need a restaurant, and as per the committee that we met with, the first committee, the ZAP committee, one of the members said, that's not a restaurant. You can't call that a restaurant. Go back and look at the tape. So she pointed it out that it's not a restaurant. That's just what we already have. And then when he first came to us, he told us one thing. He said there was going to be a restaurant with the black eyed peas and pork chops. It's the way he approached us. Okay, so of course, 40-something people sitting there, they were shocked. Okay, so as he proceeded to talk about some things, but he didn't go into depth about his actual plan. Then when he came back, that was in January, when he came back in February, what he ended up doing was he decided to add a drive-through on that. Wait a minute. So therefore, that the second meeting is when we voted, had enough. Mr. Beavers and Attorney Beavers and Mr. Mann have had plenty of time to speak with us. They wanted to speak with us again, but we have a committee that we form every time we have a case, and they didn't see it that we need to meet because it was 32-5. So I don't know what we could have accomplished. So in closing, there are a lot of things that have been said today, and it doesn't take a whole group to say what we need to say. And what we basically saying, we don't need a gas station. Okay, there are we have 5 gas stations. Okay, we have 2 on the upper part of Lakeshore where we reside. We have 2 down by John Carroll, 2 across the street from John Carroll. That's still Oxmoor. We have the Circle K that we have right there by us. We have 2 additional gas stations at the end of Lakeshore and Green Springs. Okay, that's a Circle K as well. And then we have just one. And then we have 2 additional ones that's down from the soccer field in Homewood. We have 8 gas stations. Why would we want another gas station? We need to get to the point, these developers need to get to the point, and when they go through I don't know what process they go through, the zoning, not zoning, but application and everything. I thought it was going to be done differently, that they have to make application, don't have to make application first. But I'm seeing something totally different. So we have 8 gas stations, and we have one of those that has a little eatery inside. And if we want it, and then when he came back, and they sent us from PEP, sent me this plan right here. It not only has tables, they decided to add tables to sweeten the pie. Tables and a little bit of everything. So now they're trying to call it a restaurant. So we want better for our children. We do want restaurants, and they may have heard that. But we're working for some economic development to be in Oxmoor so that we can have family restaurants where we can teach our children to sit down and eat and enjoy. But this, no. So I'm asking you from this committee, would you please consider what we only recommended? We recommended no. And it was almost unanimous that we do not need another service station. In fact, there's 4 of them that we can ride a bike. And in my case, I have to drive, but there's some who do actually walk. So this is not anything that we really need. So please allow us to maintain what we have and to just go with life and not be to the discretion of a developer who only wants to make money, not to help the neighborhood. I wish the developers would come to us and just ask us, what do we want? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Green. Are there any other speakers? You can if you come up to the microphone. You're Mr. Witt, correctly?
Mr. Witt, yeah.
Okay,
right.
Witt.
I'm not familiar with real estate and all that, but is it customary to purchase property that you know is not zoned for what you want to do?
Well, if you want to do that and take a chance, sure.
Oh, okay, that's the question I'm asking. Because I'm seeing if
I mean,
want to build a house.
It's a free country, and anybody can.
Okay. I was just that was the question I just wanted to ask. Was it because to buy a property that's zoned for manufacturing, and I want to build a house? Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there questions from members of the committee? First, let's have the developer come up and answer or attempt to respond to any of those comments or questions, and then we can formulate our comments and questions.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
If we have any left.
I'm sorry, ma'am.
I said just if we have any. So, thank you. If you go ahead and...
My wife says I'm losing my hearing, and I probably am.
Well, I can relate. So,
I assume you said just answer the questions.
If you want to just simply respond to the things that were said.
That's what we'll do. Thank you. Well, it's obvious the two concerns the neighborhood has raised are that there's going to be a traffic problem created by this development. They think it's too much traffic there, and that they got too many service stations. I think I've addressed that, but if I may, convenience stores don't create additional traffic. They feed off of the traffic that is there. There is a lot of traffic there, and nobody disputes that. The question is the development of this site for a convenience store going to create a worse situation for traffic so that it becomes a public safety, health, and welfare issue? And our folks, again, have been to traffic engineering. Traffic engineering requested they come back and redesign the turn lanes and the like, and they've done that in accordance with traffic engineering's requirements. The traffic report said something, someone indicated, well, they just said they looked it over. Well, they sat down in a meeting with us and told us, our engineer, how to design the turn lanes and how to set up the access to the development in a way that traffic engineering would support and approve. And that's what they did. It didn't just a look over thing. There's actually an engineered design of turn lanes, within the public right-of-way, and also the access lanes into the site. And if you notice that there's plenty of queue area when someone comes to turn right into the development. They're not going to have to stack and wait to get into the development to turn right. They can turn there. Folks who want to turn left into the development, there's a good turn lane there that you can see, in the site plan that was provided. That was approved by the traffic engineer of this city and actually was drawn in accordance with that traffic engineer's requirements. There is this one service station that's on the other side in a traffic pattern that goes that way in this traffic corridor. The other service stations in the area or convenience stores in the area are actually in other travel ways. So someone who's traveling this way to use those service stations would have to go there for that specific purpose. This service station is for the purpose of serving traffic that is there already. And that's just that one which is on the other side of the road in that immediate area off of that particular road travel way. You wonder what you'd like to see there. Said this is zoned industrial. That point was made. I mean, you want to see some kind of industrial site there? I don't think anybody wants to see that. This is a community service development. And to address what kind of food service there is, what's been proposed here is what they had in their plan all along. I don't know how it gets misunderstood, but sometimes it does. But they've always planned for tables. They've always planned for a drive-through. They have that in their other facilities. There's a wide range of foods. A menu that is offered there is not just pork chops and black-eyed peas. And frankly, when that was presented, it wasn't presented like that. It was presented, here's our menu, and may have mentioned pork chops and black-eyed peas, but also mentioned beef tips and rice and a full breakfast menu and all those kinds of things. We would never come and try to do what I think they were thinking we were doing. It's just, this is what he does in all his restaurants, no matter where they are. And in the other two sites that he has, we wouldn't want to insult anybody, certainly not people that were coming to ask for approval, and we wanted their approval very much. The basis on which the opposition is saying that this should be turned down is they got too many service stations. Well, there just aren't. There's a need for it here. It will serve a useful purpose. And then the other thing, the main thing, I think, is the traffic. And a fear can be a fear without it being actual. And this city's traffic engineer says this is appropriate, and it's not an issue as far as traffic engineering goes.